I think you see a lot of similarities of what's happened in the last 12 months today in our country with events that have been happening in cities across America, as you saw in the late 60s, early 70s. And so the problem has presented itself. And now, what happened in the early 70s all of a sudden is you had this spiritual awakening, this Jesus movement is on the cover of Time magazine sweep across America. And we, of course, center on the city of Birmingham and how it impacted Birmingham and the high school of Woodlawn. But to me, there's some similarities, and to me, I think we just need to pray for an awakening and a revival in America today. And I think Woodlawn, my goal, at least, as a producer of Woodlawn, is to be able to introduce to the next generation what revival looked like.
Yeah. What are some of your thoughts as you went through this? Obviously, you didn't live through that period in high school, but playing the role here of someone that did. What are some of your thoughts playing that role?
Well, my whole thing is that, even though I didn't live through things like that Tony faced in high school, they're happening right now. Even though they're not really happening in my backyard per se, it's happening all around our country. And so, I was able to go deeper in my character and believe more in the story when we were filming. You have Ferguson going on, the riots there. The guy who plays my best friend in the movie, whose character's name is Reggie Green, Marcus Henderson, he's from Ferguson, Missouri. So you have him dealing with that and filming this movie, and you have rioting scenes and bus fires and all these things going on, and it was just, there were some just incredible things going on.
In fact, the night they announced on CNN the verdict of Ferguson, we were filming. Mm-hmm. And we were at Legion Field in Birmingham, and I remember, Reggie, walking up to Reggie, and he had some water in his eyes, some tears in his eyes of what was happening. I said, Reggie, look, I'll send you home tonight if that's where you need to be. Don't worry about shouldering this burden. And he looked at me and said, you know what? What's happening at home is exactly why I need to do this movie.
Wow.
And I said, okay, I love you, man. And
that's awesome.
And he stayed. He did not want to go home. And it's just, and so to live through what's happening, in the early 70s it is really interesting. It's hard to describe. I mean, even from the Charleston, correlation with the 16th Street Baptist bombing in Birmingham.
Yep.
This stuff's happening again. And the table is being set. There's a lot of unhappiness, that is going on in America, and we're searching for an answer. And my prayer is that God's going to provide that answer for us.
So out of this turbulence, there's the opportunity for spiritual awakening if God's people will really, as we might say, get their act together. That's obviously what happened there at Woodlawn High School. Tony Nathan was a part of it. The father of the directors of this film, also a big part of that. Talk about the personal connection with John and Andy Irwin and the character who's played by Sean Astin.
Sean plays the character of Hank, who's a sports chaplain that comes alongside at Woodlawn High School, and when I first the guys asked me, hey, do you know Sean Astin? And I said, yeah, I do. I directed him in a movie, and they're like, what? They actually didn't realize I actually had him on speed dial, and so
So what was it? What was the movie?
Amazing Love.
Amazing. Okay,
that's right. Amazing Love. And so I brought Sean out to Birmingham. We shot a little trailer for Woodlawn that we called a proof of concept. We hadn't written the script yet, and this was actually before we shot Mom's Night Out. And the first time I saw Sean meet Hank Irwin, the real Hank Irwin, it was like, I was like, the guys, it's their dad, so you can't really expect anything out of them. But I was like, wow. I mean, there's so many similarities between the two guys. It's awesome, and so Sean, really encompasses who Hank is and was during that time. just a thinker and a catalyst, into kind of what happened at Woodlawn in the early 70s.